Hey, and welcome to the Drive Your Line podcast. This is where we talk about everything karting, all aspects, chassis, engines, manufacturers, rules, races, theories, and so much more. Be sure to come back and listen. Hey, everyone, welcome back. We kind of took a little hiatus. I was supposed to have Christopher Say on last month, and Christopher got busy. We got busy. Racing season got busy, and we had to put that one on the back burner for a little bit. But we will definitely have Christopher back. So don't be surprised if we come back with a little bit more dirt racing than what you usually see from us. I want to be able to encompass all of karting, not just road racing, not just two cycle, not just sprint racing. We want to do all of karting. And for those of you that are looking at the tail end of August into September, you know that now is crunch time. Everybody's talking about Daytona, getting ready. This is the biggest trifecta event in the country. It's the only trifecta event in the country. There is no other like it. There is dirt, road race, sprint race, two cycle, four cycle. The only thing we don't have, we're not drag race and go-karts. And I'm sure if you give us enough time, we might figure out how the heck to do that. But Daytona is by far the biggest triple event in the country. And if you have not been there, you need to go. If you have never tried road racing, there's not too many times in your life that you can say that I've driven on Daytona International Speedway, whether you're there for four cycle, two cycle, CIK sprint, sprint enduro, or lay down. You have several configurations, and chances are if you're a sprint racer, we can figure out how to fit you into a road race class so you can have that experience. I kind of want to get into something that I'm sure I'm going to get roasted for, and really, really don't care. I've been in karting since 1979, and at 57 years old, I'm a little pissed with the current condition of karting. Um, we have allowed our local and our club level tracks disappear. We've allowed that. We have also allowed us to skip certain aspects of the sport that help make us better drivers and better racers. And a lot of people are going from that grassroots level to boom, they're going to nationals. And we find out later that these kids don't have a base. You know, as a former racehorse trainer, if your horse doesn't have base, they don't have a foundation, they don't have the fundamentals that they're going to need to survive, then they will be half-assed. They're not going to be a good competitor. They're not going to be well-rounded. They're not going to be the facet that we need to accelerate and take the sport to the next level. And what happens is these parents end up spending tens of thousands of dollars per event. And at the end of their careers, you've got a driver that they can drive, they can't communicate, they can't work on it, they can't justify or come back and communicate what went wrong out on the track. They can't tell you if the chassis is tight, loose, tight in, loose off, tight off. They can't tell you oversteer, understeer. They can't tell you anything. We rely on tuners, we rely on video, we rely on the dash and data, we rely on engine builders, we rely on all of these people that aren't teaching that driver jack squat. And the sad thing is parents are paying for it. Now, I don't have a problem with big teams making money because they're bringing big rigs and 10 and 20 chassis, and sometimes that rent-a-ride chassis has got a chassis behind it and a backup engine and all that. I get that. But I've also seen that some of these big teams get preferential treatment at these organizations and at these events. I've seen it. At first, I thought it was BS. At first, I thought it was hearsay. At first, I thought, nah, that can't be serious. I mean, they're not really doing that. Nah, they're doing it. And we have media sources, and I'm not calling anybody out because I'm one of them. But the point is, we sit here and we report about these events, and we keep hearing about the team, the team, the team, the team, the team, the team, and the team's not spending one dime on perpetuating the sport to people outside of our sport. They're spending their money on perpetuating it and accelerating it within our sport, but we're not marketing outside of our sport. That's where new racers come from, is outside of the sport. We have to stop marketing back to the people we already have. We need to start expanding into the market that we want to go after. I look at the tracks that I raced at as a kid, man, we could have raced Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, anywhere from New York to Indiana, from Ohio to Georgia, into Florida, and when we started racing in Florida, there were 4 tracks we could have gone to on any given night, and you don't have that now. I mean, Florida still has a substantial amount of tracks, and their club level racing is actually very strong. What about Georgia? Barnesville's still there. How many of you have actually been to Barnesville? Somebody who's racing in current sprint racing, have you been to Barnesville, Georgia? How about Batavia, New York? That track just opened this year. Unfortunately, they had a very unfortunate situation happen there, and hopefully that should be overcome soon, and they should be able to, be back on track. I can't wait to go back up there and take some of the kids that we help bring into the sport and show them not only historic tracks, but tracks that are overly technical. NOLA Motorsports Park is not overly technical. It's just not. Is it pretty? Yeah. Is it nice? Yeah, it's nice. The weather's usually decent, but when it's not, it's not. Um, but that could be anywhere. But it's not an overly technical track. And since these tracks are harder when they're technical, we have a tendency not to go there as often because racers complain when they have to work hard. And I don't know how you grew up, but I grew up with a group of people that we had driving practice. We had driving school. And you probably turned 300, 400 laps before you went to the next event. And that was the week before. And then you went and rebuilt all of your stuff. You got your chassis on the table. You did, the driver did, not somebody on a team, not some team manager, not your wrench, not the guy that's your tuner. The driver did. And I always hoped that I would never be that kind of person that would sit here and talk about the good old days. Well, let me tell you, the good old days were a hell of a lot better than what we're seeing today. And it's sad. It's truly, truly sad. I love karting. I'm very passionate about it. I think it's the best, biggest bang for the buck, but the buck is getting bigger and the bang isn't. We're rebuilding KAs at an alarming rate between races. The water cooled packages are few and far between. We have X30, Rotax, a handful of maybe a shifter or 2 here and there, but it's still a handful of the same manufacturers, nothing new. So the question is, what's next for karting? What's new? What's coming down the pike? Is it gonna be the new Yamaha shifter that Musgrave decided to bring about, and hopefully that'll revitalize that segment? And I do believe kids need to be in shifters. I don't think they need to start in 125s, but I do believe they need to be in shifters. Um, I remember being a junior with an open 125. Let's get back to those days. Let's get back and teaching these kids how to handle horsepower instead of going out and hitting people. There's another topic, rough driving. Why don't our penalties hurt? You go out, you make a misjudgment, it's a 5-second penalty. Pushback. That's the biggest crock of crap, a pushback. Pushback is another term for officials have lost their nerve. Officials have lost their way, they've lost their ground, they've lost their backing. Officials no longer have somebody behind them saying, his call stands." We have racers that act inappropriately. I've seen grown men get in the face of a 12-year-old. Completely unacceptable. I have seen grown adults fight like it's WWE at the trap house. I have seen drivers be so disrespectful to their parents that had that been me with my parents, I've been picking my teeth and my helmet up in the next county. But you know what these parents do and these teams? "Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You're gonna be okay." No, it's not okay. We're a long way from okay. And we're slowly sliding into the degradations of crap. We need to do better. Karting needs to do better. Our organizations need to do better. Our teams need to do better. You need to raise your standards, hold your people to them. And if you're only holding them to their bank account, that's only going to go so far. I see these teams with 30, 40, 50 drivers under their tent, and only 5 of them are worth a damn. Why is that? Are we really producing a bad product? Who's getting rich here? Because let me tell you, it's not the kart shops. I know, I am one. We spend a lot of time on the phone with customers. We spend a lot of time hand holding. We spend a lot of time working for free. Maybe that's my problem. I'm not asking for enough money. I'm not doing this for a living. I know a lot of people that do, and this is what they do for a living, and I give them all the kudos in the world, and thank you for carrying that torch. But for the love of God, grow a set. Quit being a pushover. Quit accepting mediocrity. Quit promoting mediocrity. Quit allowing your drivers to drive like a bunch of rookies. Start putting these kids together with confidence. Start putting them together with the ability to speak in public without using the words, like, Teach them to step above their competitors and represent themselves well with self-esteem and confidence. Teach them to represent you, your brand, your team, and your manufacturer with class and professionalism. And for the love of God, reprimand them when they're wrong. You don't have to lose your mind and your marbles out on the grid. You pull them aside and say, look, let's go over this video because you ran that kid clean over. I'm tired of seeing the same drivers target other drivers over and over and over again. And as an outsider looking in, I see it all the time. The same driver over and over again, going through the field like a damn pinball. Organizations need to start handing down penalties that have pain involved. First time, you're getting a verbal and you're going to go to the back. Not 5 seconds. That's bullshit. Second time, you're packing your crap and you're sitting this one out. Third time, you're packing your crap and you're leaving the event, and we're going to put you under review. That's what it should be. But none of these organizations want the extra paperwork, headache, or mommy and daddy yelling in their face. And Lord knows teams don't want they don't want to run the risk of having that big dollar customer walking away. Well, then you better start doing better. This sport, I sit here and I look at it, and I don't know if I want to introduce a lot of new people to this because it's volatile, it's nasty, it's gritty, it's grimy for all the wrong reasons. I was talking to somebody the other day, an icon, not going to name names. And he was telling me, he says, you know what? We raced people how we wanted to be raced. And if we screwed up and we rubbed them wrong, we knew it was coming. And we took it like a man. Or we went over and we apologized. I got a racer right now, 15 years old, his third year in racing. He's now into road racing. And he kind of screwed up pretty bad at NC car, but everything worked out. He wasn't upset about what he did. He was upset that he needed to go talk to the race director right now. I said, you might want to wait and go at lunchtime. Take him lunch. And that's what he did. But the fact that he thought so much about that moment that he had to go correct it, he had to go apologize, that meant the world. And I commend him for that. And I told him that that was the right thing to do. The race director even told me, wow, that was impressive. How many times have you guys had a driver screw up and go talk to the race director? Better yet, when was the last time they went to go talk to a competitor about something they did wrong? Or better yet, when was the last time they talked to a competitor about what the competitor did wrong? In a sane, safe, non-threatening means. When was the last time? Everybody thinks that we're all getting rich in this sport. Some are, some aren't. We've been actively pursuing, oh, hell, what would you call it? The trophy, a piece of plastic. Lord knows we're not getting checks. We're all racing for the same amateur piece of plastic as the next guy. You're not taking home a check. Chip Ganassi is not sitting out there looking for somebody for any of his teams. Roger Penske's not looking to put somebody into a car. Nobody's out there sniping talent. And a lot of you guys are acting like it's the championship of the free world. And the postage stamp of what could be a very, very productive career in motorsports, this is just the beginning. And if you can't conquer this with the knowledge, skills, attitude, and professionalism, I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to make it. Talent alone is not going to carry you. You can be the most talented driver in the world, but if you're just an asshole, that's all they're going to remember. That's all their sponsors are going to remember, if you can secure any. So clean up your act, karting. Get your crap together. I'm one of the few who are gonna sit here and say, "I'm tired of it." And no, we don't have the biggest team on the grid. God, we don't have the best team on the grid. But you know what? We're one of the teams on the grid. And I'm just one of a lot that sit back and talk and say, "You know what? This is getting old. And it's getting expensive. We're tired of replacing go-karts, bent chassis, broken chassis." And I had people say, "Well, it was the manufacturer." It wasn't the manufacturer. It was the fact your kid come hauling ass through here at 300 and something pounds and sideswipe somebody. That's what it was. It wasn't the manufacturer. So when we start manning up, we stop talking about it, we start being about it, and we start laying down rules and enforcing them, things will change. And instead of being concerned about that $10,000 a weekend customer walking away, why not think about the ones that you're going to attract? What about thinking about making better drivers and a better team and a better sport? What about that? It's not about if you fail, it's what about if you succeed? In karting, we have to do better. We need more clubs. We need new racers at the grassroots level. We need more grassroots push. We need more people that wanna do more and not just pay a check, get it done. We need technical people. We need staff at the races. We need people at the grassroots level at the clubs, helping them lead into the next generation. We need organizations that are going to give them rules, structure, insurance, marketing guidelines, focus, mission. These clubs need that. They don't know what they don't know. And for those who do know something, you need to lend that expertise to the next group underneath you and help lead them up. We've become way too stingy, we've become way too greedy, and we've become way too self-centered, and it's gotta stop, or we're not gonna be here. Trust me, motorsports doesn't need us, they have way too many simulator rigs. And if you don't think that's not gonna become a reality, it's already a reality. There's already people there going to teams off of sim rigs. They don't need the rest of this bull crap. They don't need to spend this kind of money. They don't need to be on the road. The kid doesn't have to leave school. They don't need a truck. They don't need a trailer. They don't need a tuner. They don't need a team. And they're going right from the sim rig into these teams. So karting already has competition. Wake up, do better, be better. We're all going to be better for it. And I know that, I know that I've gotten a lot of responses to that, but you know what? That's how I feel about it. And I'm sorry if it hits a nerve for some people. I don't care. I don't care. It's real, it's raw, and the fact that nobody wants to talk about it openly doesn't mean it's gonna go away, it means you're a fool. And those of us who are sick and tired of it, and it's not just me, I'm just a little teeny tiny portion of this equation, but when they start stacking up, that's when that reality hits the hardest. So ask yourself, what am I going to do for karting? How can I possibly lend more information? We can all sit here and say WKA, AKRA, IKF, SCUSA, they're all the problem. They're just money hungry. They're this, they're that. If you have not put on a race, I'd advise that you do before you start running your mouth. It's hard. It's damn hard. And then when you got competitors complaining, "Oh, well, we don't like the venue. We don't like the weather. We don't like the location. We don't like this guy. We don't like that guy." Then please leave. Please go away. We're tired of hearing the bickering about stupid shit. We really need people that are interested in supporting and asking, "What else can I help you with?" Instead of, "I paid you, therefore I can complain." These promoters are getting fewer and fewer every year. Just like grassroots racers to feed the next level, we have fewer and fewer people wanting to jeopardize their livelihood, their bank account, and their reputations to put on events. If you have not become the member of an organization, you need to. I just sent my membership into WKA. I've been a member the last few years. I'm not a driver, and you know what? I will not benefit anything else out of that than the fact that it helps ensure the next event will go on at Daytona. It will help ensure that another club may possibly be able to put on road racing. Same thing for AKRA. I'm a member there. I'm not a driver. But ensures that these clubs, Dart Kart, Woodbridge, they're going to continue. It ensures that Southern Kart Club's going to continue. It ensures that a sanctioning body is going to be able to put together a rule structure, a technical manual, and possibly an insurance package. The insurance provider is going to approve that technical manual. And that's what's going to fuel the next events. Not big rigs, not $10,000 weekends, not the magic tuner, not that perfect engine. There's a lot more to it than that. Those are the superficial things. But the point is, we have got to do better, or we're not going to be here at all. So become a member. In the grand scheme of things, if you're one of those that's spending somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 a weekend, and you're not willing to spend anywhere from $50 to $80 on a membership with an organization, that's wrong. That's wrong. Become a member. Let me go through this. Trevor Reed, we need more just Sunday Cup type club and casual racing. Trevor Reed, I agree. So do I agree with that? We do, and we need to spend days where we have Q&A days where people can come to the track. They've never been involved in karting and just ask, just see, touch, feel, smell, ask questions. Joe Chiminetti, it's the same at the high level of motorsports. They think blocking is an art. We used to get black flagged. I remember Harry Miller smacking me in the helmet with a black flag. Got my attention, scared the hell out of me. But as a result, I didn't do it again. You know, you probably couldn't get away with it now. Somebody'd be calling, Children's Protective Services. But you can't tell a kid that just cut some other kid off and cost their family to, you know, 5, 6, 7,000 on a new chassis and all the components that, oh, by the way, you got a 5-second penalty. That's a joke. That's a friggin' joke. 5-second penalty. Pushback bumpers. Don't even get me started on shit. God. Pushback. Sad. Do better, karting. Do better. All of you. Do better. All of us. So now that I've got my dander up, I thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's our studio audience. Thank you, Daniel, for stroking the ego. I do miss these podcasts. I miss them terribly. I miss all of you. I miss the mail. I miss the text messages. I miss our sponsors. Our sponsors have really done their best to get involved and be involved, and they back everything that we do. And I hear my shop phone ringing. Whoever you are, call me back. Um, we are at 25 after the hour. I want to thank you for tuning in. It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Our shop has been busy. We now have a new program called Kart Shop Class. And if you have not read any of our socials, it is a class for those who really are not they're not into karting. They're not racing, they're not driving. They're tinkers, they're thinkers, they're looking outside the box. These are kids mostly right now. Of course, we are happy to help with adults as well. But I have kids as young as 9 and as old as 16. And our first class had 4. Our next class had 9. And it looks like we're gonna grow again in September. We do them once a month, 3 to 4 days. And this next class that we're having, our students are gonna have the opportunity to go to Finish Line Performance Karting down in Biloxi, which is our home track for the Drive Your Line Kart Sport crew. And these kids are gonna get in rentals. If you think that we're gonna turn them loose in racing karts, we're not ready for that yet. I don't think my pocketbook's ready for that. But we're gonna go ahead and send them down there in rental karts. Their parents will be there. They'll be able to look at the karts and see things that they're working on our race karts are exactly the same as they are in the rental karts. So we have, axles, spindles, wheels, tires, spacers, frame, chassis, seat, struts, so on and so forth. So everything that they've been utilizing in class, they're going to see it work in real world. As a result of that, we are also going to invite a couple of our team people to be there, bring their equipment so that these kids can see, boom, this is what that looks like out on the track that you've been working on. So if these kids stick with us, we're going to take them all the way through to getting them involved in being in an event with our team. And I think that we're being able to tap into another market, not necessarily a market that we're building just for a money grab. That's not the point. We want to build new people who want to be involved not only in karting but in motorsports in general, either as a hobby or as a career. And we have to start building better rounded people to be involved in the sport if we're going to succeed in the future. So with that being said, Bruce Shank and Angie, thank you. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and bring on our guest. And today I have Mike Tetreault. And Mike is the chairman of the board of the World Karting Association. And we're going to talk about Daytona and karting, NWKA, and dirt racing, all kinds of stuff. So, Mike, thank you for joining me.
Hey, thanks, Christy. I appreciate it. Great monologue.
Thank you. Thank you. Being in the position you're in, having heard my profanity-laden tirade, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, the sport was obviously different many years ago from where it is today. And you look at, what's changed. It's not the amount of series or the amount of events that are going on. The world has changed. Social media, live broadcasting of events, money racing. Obviously, those three things play a big part in what happens in our sport. A family wanting to get into sport, logs in and watches a race on TV or on their computer or through a podcast or something like that, and they say, "Why do I really want to do this?" Look at them. They're crashing, they're smashing, they're banging each other, they're cursing, they're fighting, they're pushing, they're shoving. Is this what I want to bring my family into? And then the ones that, go to an organization's post and, WK or SCUSA or USPKS, makes a post, and these new people just read the negative comments that attack organizations about something they might have did wrong or whatever. And again, they say, why do I want to do this? It's like a reality show. Karting has turned into more of a reality show. With social media and the broadcast. I'm not against the live broadcasting, don't get me wrong. But the market they're trying to attract is trying to attract the people that are already here, like you said. There's no promotion to get new people in the sport. And I think the effort has to be more on that, of getting new people in. But social media is the worst. I mean, you've seen it, I've seen it.
And the sad thing is, I'll be the first one to admit I have been sucked into that negativism. I have taken part in it, and I apologize. I will never do it again, and it's not productive. And I've been on both sides of the coin. Obviously, I've not been in a position like you are with a major organization, but there becomes a time when certain things just are not productive. You're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And it's literally that black and white. What side are these people on?
Oh, again, you can hide behind a keyboard.
Yeah. Well, like I told
and again, I'm not knocking anybody that does offer their opinions or criticisms and things like that. But again, all these organizations ourselves, USPKS, SCUSA, STARS, put a lot of hard effort into the events we put on.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
we shouldn't, you just don't need it. Like I said, so if you want to look at what's different from now and before, it's social media. I mean, obviously the motors got faster, and and the chassis are better, and the tires are better, and you're going faster around tracks than you were 10 years ago. KPVs. That was and Yamaha was the motor back now. Now we've got Ks and X30s and super powered shifters running on tracks that are still the same tracks we ran those motors on.
Yeah.
Fields are growing and but agree, we're still not getting that new racer or that second level racer into the sport because they don't want it. We work with the Blue Shock program, which is the electric kart program. Everyone thought that was the biggest joke in the sport, and it's not. I mean, they're bringing new people into the sport. They're not putting existing karters into the sport. They're bringing in new people to the sport. It's not a joke. It's giving people something new to look at. These are the guys that are coming out of the indoor kart centers and the leagues and things like that. But then when they go to a race and they just see and view what goes on, it's like, why? I'll just stay in my Blue Shock. I'm not going to go buy a K100 and do this. I'll just stay in my Blue Shock program. Yeah, it's bringing that new person in, but it's not bringing anybody else in.
And now that you mentioned the electric programs, again, being old school, I did have some animosity about it, but at the same time, not everybody wants to get greasy. Not everybody wants to rebuild a KA every couple hours. Not everybody wants to worry about sticking a piston. Not everybody knows how to dial a carburetor, nor wants to learn. I mean, there's a lot of validity to the electrical market. I don't know what it is yet, only because I don't know a lot about it. So that's why I've kind of reserved my views about it. But I see it hurting a lot of other portions with what we call our industry, but it may bring in other portions to our market that we don't have yet. I know the FAT program has been, pretty active, and I know that they're getting some pretty good results from that. But at the end of the day, how do we make those all merge together, or do we? Do they stay separate?
I think right now, I think they stay separate, and I was, had a lot of reserve too when they presented us with the program, and after going to a race, the first race I went to in Jacksonville, I mean, I was sold on it.
No noise.
Enough that it's a class in Daytona at the sprint track. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up at a road race eventually.
That's gonna be a long extension cord.
It might not be able to go around Daytona twice, but you never know. I don't know the charging life, but again, we have to do better marketing. If we want new people to come in the sport, we have to do a better job of marketing, get them in the sport, and that's from everybody's standpoint. It's right now. It's like, so let's just make fast money, because that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and good racing's not cheap. Cheap racing's not good, but there's a happy medium in there somewhere.
And I get it from the people's perspective. As I spend all this money to do it, and he tears my go-kart up, I want to pay him back. I mean, it's that hasn't changed in 20 years.
No, that's not changed ever since the second go-kart.
I think, but again, karting has evolutionized. Tracks have not. That's the problem.
I agree.
I mean, the Texas tracks are newer. Newcastle was the newest track on the market, 15, 20 years ago. I mean, but everything's they haven't evolutionized. And if I remember correctly, I think Sean Bailiff had to change his track around a little bit, had to reconfigure things.
Yep.
Because
and it's improved greatly.
He had to make improvements. He had to make improvements to today's world, to today's racing, and today's motors and stuff like that. So we're not getting these super tracks anymore. I mean, the new K1 track is probably amazing. I haven't seen it raced on there. I know Scoose is racing on it. I don't know everything negative about it. Tri-C Kart Club races on it, but they're far in between getting new tracks out there, and we're not going to get new tracks. That's the problem.
We go through surges in this sport on every level, whether it's tracks, karters, equipment, new technology. Right now we've got a new track going in, 2 new tracks in Ohio this year. And I don't know how many tracks we have in Ohio total right now, 7, 9, something like that. I grew up there, so we always had tracks, we had tracks so you could spit and hit 2 of them. So that really hasn't changed, but being the birthplace of WKA, that's helped a lot. But are we building the right tracks?
I think we are. I mean, they're bigger, they're wider, and stuff like that. But again, it comes back to what you said. If you don't teach your kids the right way, or the teams don't teach their drivers the right way, we're not going to get anywhere. Eventually, that pool of drivers and that pool of people are going to disappear. And how many, when you got to look at something, and you look at a series that gets 500 entries, and then the next year it gets 500 entries, and the next year it gets 500 entries. How many of those 500 did you lose, and how many of those 500 did you gain? So
Right.
did 200 people say I'm done and I quit, and we got 200 new people? I mean, you could have. I mean, but those are numbers we don't know, and only the series knows that. But that's something you got to look at, is how many people you lose and how many people you're actually gaining, because that number isn't growing. It's still 500. But where does it come from?
When you look at an event as a promoter, what do you look at a location?
If you want to get a location, obviously a good facility, clean facility, bathrooms are always important, because if you want to get your family members and wives and girlfriends and grandparents to come, you got to have clean bathrooms first for sure to
Yes.
get family members there. Safety. It's not a podunk track, and obviously most of our tracks are extremely safe. So that's something as a promoter you look at, the resources that the track has. Is there enough runoff? Is there enough? There's not a bunch of potholes in the tracks or cracks or anything. The curbing's good, stuff like that, etc.
When you decide to hold an event, whether it's road race, dirt, sprint, what is the number one thing that you want when you go into that facility, when you are putting it together, whether it's in your head, on the computer, on a piece of paper? What is the single most thing you have to have? What's a non-negotiable, Mike, besides the bathrooms?
That the facility is safe. I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. It's got to be safe. It's got to be safe.
So when you look at a facility, do you ever take somebody in a cart to go test it? Do you, whether, especially on dirt, because I know your track is constantly changing when you're running dirt. So how do you gauge that? Is it by somebody who was there before, or input from racers? How do you bring that about?
Well, I think input from racers and the person that owns the track that you're renting from. Obviously, you look at Newcastle. I mean, Mike and Mark, they're great, and they are constantly in making improvements the best they can. And that you're dealing with a good group of people there that are going to provide you the best, safest track available. I mean, all the amenities they have for it is great. I haven't been to the newer tracks in Texas or Ohio, so I can't really speak for what amenities they have. On the dirt end, there's tracks that have great amenities, tracks that don't have great amenities. But the biggest thing in dirt we look for is the runoff area, and making sure that there's enough runoff area if a cart does slide or push off, that they're not going to crash into a fence or hit a pole or something like that. And we make sure that for me, it's about safety. Safety first.
Right. I agree 110%.
Because our again, we talk about insurance, and insurance is slowly dwindling. And
it's a very small market.
It's becoming a very, very small market. So, I know we can talk about many other things, but safety is the most important part for a track.
I know here in the most recent years, WK has become very active again in dirt racing.
Mm-hmm.
How many dirt events are you guys doing a year now?
Anywhere between 10 and 15.
Wow.
10, 15.
It's great.
And then obviously we insure a lot of tracks and work with a lot of other promoters and stuff too. So it's different coming from the sprint world, and for me to focus a lot on the dirt stuff. But it's a fun thing. You show up on a Friday, you race on Saturday, you're done. I mean, it's the sprint market's very overly crowded at this point. There's not enough weeks in a year to hold events between all the major series, and You look again. You look at GoPro. You look at Newcastle. They're like nationals too. Badger Car Club. They're nationals. Races in
Yeah.
Texas. They're nationals because their local events are pulling 200 plus entries. So that's almost just like running a Stars or a USPKS race when GoPro's racing or Newcastle's racing.
Let's talk about Daytona for a second. Explain that event from a promoter standpoint. If you were to give it one word, how would you describe that event?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. I'll tell you.
Thank goodness it's once a year, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into it, a lot of effort that goes into it. We have a great team of people that do everything. The Speedway is great to work with, but it's people don't realize the amount of work and effort we have to put in to get that event to where it is every year. We're learning something new every year and trying to make improvements every year.
Well, as a repeat road racer, former sprint racer, we thank you for making sure that gets done every year. Um, I know it's not easy. I know for a lot of us, it's not easy to get there. I couldn't imagine being a promoter or part of the promotional team that takes extra time out of their days and their lives to make sure that gets organized. I know that you are currently taking sponsorships and garage assignments for the road race side.
Mm-hmm.
What's the word on sprint side? Is that also actively open right now, or is that coming up?
Right now, reserve numbers and memberships are open. We don't open the general registrations for any of the 3 series until October. So people that want to do their memberships early, they can. If they want to reserve numbers in sprint or road race, they can now.
Renewed mine this week. Renewed mine this week.
Appreciate that very much.
You're very welcome.
But again, we don't open everything else up until October. Right now, it's just planning. I did a podcast the other day, and the guy said to me, "When do you start planning for Daytona?" After Daytona, I said January 1st.
Yeah. After you take a deep breath for about a week and a half.
You take a deep breath for about 24 hours and say, "Okay, what did we do wrong? What can we do to make it better?" And
Mike, how long have you been at WKA as an executive or trustee or involved?
Probably close to 10 years now.
About
I'd
10
say
years.
probably 10 years. I'd say between trustee for 6 years and then the chairman for the last couple of years as well too. So,
What's your take of the ebbs, flows, changes, and things that you have seen? What's the one takeaway that you remember in your time there?
one takeaway. That's a hard question to answer. We just tried to engage the customers more. I mean, and try to reach out. And obviously, like I said, we're not doing sprint as much as we used to. The road race stuff, we'd rather partner up with a series rather than hold the event because again, the cost of the tracks is just so expensive to do that. And the biggest thing I'd like to see better is that everyone starts to work more together in our sport because it is getting smaller, like you keep on saying. And if we don't start to work together and start to consolidate, it is going to go away.
Well, I've often said
it'll never go away, but it'll become smaller.
Yeah, I've often said, especially more often here recently, discontention breeds fragmentation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been again in the sport since the 70s, and I probably see more fragmentation within our ranks now than ever before. And it is concerning because we have multiple national level type series. We have a lot of regional series. We have multiple promoters. We have multiple clubs at above a grassroots level, above the local racetrack that runs a regular program. And that makes it hard. Like you were saying, there's only so many weeks in the year. And the time's going to have to come where we're all going to have to come to the table. And these guys are all going to have to say, look, how can we do better together versus apart? And I think that time's coming sooner than later. And I hope that it becomes a productive process for our sport. The issue is, at least as far as what I see, is that you can only spread so many racers, so many directions, so many times before they just go, enough. And I hope that we're not gonna get to that level. I hope that we can, work on things before that actually takes place. And I know, like, in road racing, we do all we can to bring new kids and new families into the sport, but everybody says, "Well, there's a lot of old people here." Yeah, because we can't sprint race. That's a young man's sport, a young girl's sport. Um, but road racing's easier on a lot of things, your pocketbook, your body. And it's a different level of camaraderie. That's the first thing that some of our kids and their families had to say is that everybody is so friendly. We're not used to that. And it was the truth. And then I turned around the next year and I take them to a major sprint event. And it's like, oh wow, this is like sterile and uninviting. Even when we had our series here Friday night, we had a cookout with the entire pit. And we would find that brand new parents with a new driver that were kind of peeking and freaking, they buddied up with another family who's been in this sport for some time, and next thing you know, they're helping each other, and it just turns out to be a great event for them and a great experience. And you go sprint racing, unless you got a checkbook out, you ain't getting that. You're not gonna have that kind of relationship. So we kinda need to get back to that common ground where everybody really does help in more of a capacity of a friendship or a camaraderie level versus a competitor headbutting level. And, I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I can at least hold my breath and cross my fingers, and maybe someday it'll work. What do you see for all 3 of the entities there at Daytona? I know that you guys sprint race at Daytona. What do you see for WKA in all 3 entities moving forward?
I think moving forward, I mean, Daytona continues to grow every year for us in the dirt and the road race and the sprint stuff because Daytona is an annual happening, just like the Supernats is a annual happening in Las Vegas. So you get people that come that just want to be part of Daytona,
Yeah.
and that's like their big thrill in road race. Someone who does road race can say, "Wow, I actually drove on the big track, and I drove around the oval, and I did what the NASCARs do and stuff like that." But when we see our dirt participation, it's because it's Daytona. It's December. It's Daytona. It's the big place to be. The sprint, that's like I said, they travel. They're just they go. It's a happening for them as well. And we continue to try to strive to make improvements and try to make it better for everybody. But as Daytona looks at it, that's the Super Bowl of motorsports to start the coming next coming year.
I
That's
agree.
why that's why they love it so much. You know.
And, I think with it granted, for a lot of people, they're not familiar with the format. Daytona for our 26th season kicks off that season in December of 25. It's been
Hmm.
that way for as long as I can remember. Mike, what number Daytona are we on? 37? 36?
It was the 50th anniversary 2 years ago, so I guess this would be the 52nd, I believe, 52nd or 53rd year of
Oh gosh,
Daytona
that's right, we are
KartWeek.
in the 50s. What am I
Yeah,
saying? 30? My
we had
goodness.
50th a couple years, 2 years ago, I think it was.
And
But
that's
again, just
impressive accolade.
making improvements. I mean, this year with the sprint program, we have a whole new race lineup format with morning and afternoon classes, similar to the way they do it in Escusa, to try to take easy on the mechanics, try to take easy on the drivers. Something new we're going to try, see if it works. Dirt, we did reduce our classes a little bit just to try to not be there till 1 o'clock in the morning. And the road race stuff, I mean, there's really no complaints about the road race stuff. I mean, our directors do a great job of getting it in and out. And last couple of years, we've had some rain, and you guys have still gotten all your racing in.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
true story.
that's off to those guys. They, we have challenges at dirt. When it rains, you just don't race. When
Ah,
sprint, you put rain tires on. Road race, you got to be creative. You got to come up with the right numbers and the right schedule and change things around and try to make it so everybody gets on there and gets as much track time as possible. Knock on wood, we have not had a tremendously total rain out event. So hopefully that doesn't happen anytime soon.
let's talk about WK membership.
Mm-hmm.
Membership has its privileges, and those privileges are voting
Mm-hmm.
and technical manual access, and, When are we going to see the possibility of elections? When's our next election cycle?
We're looking into next year. That's what we're going to garner all of our memberships again for the people that are doing Kart Week. If you want to be part, if you want to have a voice and be able to vote, you'll have to be a member. Membership, the elections work as normal. We send out our nomination ballots to everybody that is a member. They nominate who they would like to see represent their district. Our districts are listed online under our trustees and contacts. And once we receive those, then we take those names, we compile, we contact those people, make sure that they are members. If you're selected to, you have to be a member. And we ask them, you've been selected, would you like to run? And they say yes or no. If they say no, we take them off the list. If we say yes, we put them on the list. And then we'll mail out the ballots to everybody, and we'll have an election. We have 8 districts. We're not, obviously not all 8 districts are up. But over the next few years, we'll be, having elections for all of our districts.
Wonderful. I wish you all the luck in the world at Daytona. We'll see you there, obviously. We take
We'll
a
be
couple
there.
of days before the event, kind of relax and relapse and get geared up and ready. We should have a good group of people with us. If anybody's looking for garage space, a team to come with, when we go to Daytona, it's non-denominational in our tent. We're not brand specific. We want to see everybody else have the same good time and great experience that we have not only had, but we also perpetuate into those who travel with us. So if you are looking for a position to race Daytona, I mean, I don't know how many times that you can say that you raced on Daytona International Speedway, but if you've never done it, do it. Don't wait. You'll want to do it every year. Mike, I thank you for your time. Is there
I
anything you
appreciate
would
it.
like to add before we bid you adieu?
No, just stay connected to our social media and our pit boards. More updates are coming. We look forward to another great Daytona, another great event, and that's kind of all I got right now. Just the planning and planning and planning. So
Mike, thank
we'll
you
do
so
our
much.
best to make it for everybody. So
Thank you. Thank you for joining us, Mike. I appreciate it.
appreciate it. Thank you.
For those of you who want to become WKA members, you can go on Race Select and you can go ahead and do your membership there. That's how I did mine. Took me less than maybe 2 minutes. Didn't take any time at all. Also, reservation of cart numbers will be coming up soon. So if you have a reserve number or you want a reserve number, you're going to want to do that time. But in the meantime, like Mike said, check their social media, their website, and they should have some communication as to when registration opens. If you are a road racer, your grid position is determined by the order in which your pre-registration is received. So don't wait. When that window opens, get on it. If you want to get on the front end of the pack, you want to be one of the first ones to get your registration in. And if you really don't care, you're there for the experience, then get it done. Don't wait till you get there because that's a nightmare. You want to get it done online. Also, it helps all your organizations. I don't care if it's WKA, USPKS, SCUSA, STARS, whomever, AKRA, Dart Kart, whomever. It helps when you pre-register for them to set up scoring, timing, classes. It also helps them with management of time. When you wait to pre-register, it tells your sanctioning body so many things. It tells them that you're really not committed as hard as they are. It tells them that you're not really that interested after all, and it makes their job very difficult when you wait. So please don't wait. Get pre-registered when and if you can. Help them help you and help the sport. As we come to a conclusion, I thank you all for all of the messages, both private and public. Rick Sweeting, yeah, buddy, I'm with you. That Shelbyville track, Tennessee track used to be Twin Fountains. It's now known as the Music City Raceway. They have done a lot of good things with the new owner there. They have repaved and I believe widened that track just a little bit. It's the original configuration. However, rumor is they are going to build on the property a much larger competition track. So there's a new track there coming in. You got one in Arkansas that just came in. Haven't been to those locations. We really would like to get there here in the next couple months. Um, I think our future as far as drive your line kart sport is going to be getting some of these grassroots events at some of these club levels and helping them where we can, whether it's helping their racers, bringing our racers, helping on race day. We're happy to do that. So we're going to be reaching out to a lot more of these clubs and grassroots level competitors and organizations to see how can we help you? When's your next race? What's your class structure? We would like to take part in some of those. But in closing, Daniel, could I have my slide for our wonderful sponsors? Ladies and gentlemen, we certainly couldn't do this podcast without these guys. One, Daniel's excellent at what he does, and we have to pay Daniel. Daniel always likes the dineros. FHS Oil came on here a little while back, and thank you to that nice, iconic brand. I wish I could tell you more about what they're doing today. I can tell you more about what they've done in the past, but what they're doing today, that's a full show. And we may have Daniel on here soon because he needs to tell us about his involvement with FHS and where they're going and what they're doing because it's really, really impressive. I got the chance to talk to him at Mid Ohio this year. I've talked to him on the phone about his vision, obviously the incredible products. Doorstep peppers, again, man, if you're a cook, I don't know anybody that's watching this that don't eat. I mean, we all eat, right? You need to look up doorstep peppers online. Incredible spices, easy peasy. Sometimes it's one mix, whether it's fish, it's pork, chicken, beef, buffalo. I mean, you name it. We've put it on everything and it is just amazing. They keep it simple. All of their products are clean. There's no fillers. There's no crap. It is veteran owned. It is an American company. Tillotson Racing, excuse me. If you look on the backside of your carburetors, a lot of times it says made in the USA. They are headquartered in Ireland. I said they are an American made company. They're an American owned company. They have deep roots in our sport. They have deep roots in motorsports worldwide. Boxo USA was so kind as to get us some tools for not only our team, but also for our kart shop kids. And they are an incredible supporter of everything that we do. And their package, their karting package comes in a great toolbox. They are incredible products. Excuse me. Everything that you need is in that box, branded beautifully. The box is very well put together. And of course, I'm dying. Drive Your Line Kart Sport, which is our company, and we're very proud of them. And we appreciate everybody for your support. Thank you for tuning in.